Kaz Cooke is a best-selling author and cartoonist whose work has been making Australians laugh for nearly 40 years. Kaz's latest offering is You're Doing It Wrong, a history of bad and bonkers advice to women.
Takes readers on a journey through the centuries of expectations thrust on women, told with her trademark wit. Kaz joins us now. Good morning to you, Kaz.
Good morning.
Look, I started reading this and having a little giggle, but I also had this very funny feeling in my stomach thinking, I cannot believe this is true. These are things that people have been told, that women have been told over the years. You must have just shaken your head at times wondering what on earth you were finding in the archives.
Well, you know, years of research taught me, if anything, that most of the stuff women are told is A, nonsense, and B, has been going on for centuries. So, you know, the corsets of the 18th century are the Kardashian skimwear of today. And you'll note, Lisa, I'm wearing a very wide, I deliberately wore this shirt for you because this is now back in fashion, the leg of mutton sleeve, would you believe, to make your waist look skinnier. So, you know, like women have been told everything from, you know, be a perfect mother, which is impossible, to your health is hysterical and your uterus wanders around and will fall out if you do sport. So that's why women were not allowed to do a whole lot of Olympic sports. Oh. So there's a lot of funny stuff. And over the research at the National Library and the State Library of Victoria, the museum, the Institute for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies, I just found the most extraordinary pictures and devices and things that women have been told to wear and put on. And it was great fun to do the research. But people have actually told me that they have cried and laughed at the book with the frustration, particularly older women. You know, who've been told things like have a Bex and a good lie down, and it turned out that Bex gave you cancer. Yeah. So, yeah, there's so much stuff.
And look, even just the lines, you know, sit down and shush. That's what you're supposed to do as a woman. And, you talk about the clothing, like I felt physically pained looking at some of the photos. You are so funny though, Kaz, you know, when you're dealing with some of the hats that people were wearing and your funny quips about how to deal with it. But is it true that even in your time of writing columns, and, you know, they might have been satirical, that men wrote in and said women shouldn't be wearing jeans?
Oh, and very targeted. I mean, that's the other thing. Part of that sit down and shush stuff, before the internet, when trolls could shout at you online, they used to, when I worked for a newspaper sort of straight out of school, they used to send letters to say, is your husband writing your column? Because if there's one thing men like to do, Lisa, it's give someone else the credit for their work. You will look fat in jeans, so you can't wear jeans. And I used to think, why does Ken of Glen Iris think I give a flying patootie what he thinks? But there's part of that policing, right? So it's our bodies, our thoughts. Women were told for centuries we weren't to speak, we weren't to laugh, and partly because that was seen as threatening to men, that we might be laughing about them behind their backs.
You even had your mum's wedding photo in there, and you delivered a line about two people in this photo have been to deportment classes because they know how to stand. And I looked at it and I just thought, oh my gosh, yes, that is how women stood, with one foot in front of the other to try and make yourself somehow smaller.
Lisa, have you been on Instagram recently? There's a whole new, and that's in a section called Posing, about women trying to make themselves look smaller or look different. And my mum and my lovely aunties, my darling Auntie Glenda was the one who hadn't been to deportment school, and she and I have a special affinity, as it turns out. But I love those photos that prove those things, that we were told to use optical illusions to change our shape, because if you're a woman, your body shape is wrong.
Yeah, and hats off to the women who said, bugger it all, I'm going to do it my way, and you include their stories in here as well. It's just great.
Yeah.
Kaz, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. It is a funny book, but slightly tragic at the same time.
Yeah, we've got to keep fighting, Lisa. Lots of things to keep fighting for.
Thanks, Kaz.
Thank you.